over the world like New Jersey people. Spurs, the Real Madrid of this year's Champions League. Yeah, less of that, man. Big up you lot tuned in. Big up you lot tuned in. You know what? There's no point wasting any time. Keep your talking points, etc., flowing, people. But with that being said, we might as well look at some of the latest news because I want to try this a bit of a different way. Smash the like button if you haven't already. As you know, we're always linked with a number of players, people. We have been linked with Zaha. And apparently, in the case of Zaha, and that could make January interesting if Crystal Palace want to make some money for him, similar to Leicester with Telemans. Zaha is yet to agree a contract extension at Crystal Palace, despite being verbally offered a bumper new deal. Now, verbal isn't being offered something in writing. In business, you know, these things matter. The Premier League club fear their chances of keeping their talisman beyond this season are failing. At 29 years of age, obviously he's free in January to indirectly agree a move in the summer to a Premier League club or officially come out and join a foreign team. And you know, Zaha has to ask himself that question. You know, does he want to stay at Crystal Palace, be loved? You've got stability. I don't like the word idolizing and worshipping, but in footballing terms, there is that. But if you sign a 3-4 deal, at some point, you're going to get thanks for the memories. Bye-bye. So if there is one little adventure you want, whether that's moving to Arsenal, United, Roma, Chelsea, all Spurs, all the, well, not really a big club, but all the teams that he's been linked with, I couldn't blame him for such. And I would say, obviously, Palace, you lose Zaha, it's going to cost a lot of money to replace him. But in my opinion, they've never been in better shape, you know, with Elise, with Eze, and obviously there's a lot that they need to improve, but it could be a lot worse. But naturally, Crystal Palace fear he'll leave on the free. Again, he's free to talk to teams in January, people. And they're at his mercy, people. Talks have taken place over a new big money contract for Zaha, but it's understood no formal written offer has been submitted. Instead, the Eagles have made a substantial verbal offer. The deal includes a pay hike on his current 130k. Now, that's probably something that would ward Arsenal away because I'm not saying Zaha isn't worth it, but, you know, you're going to have to give him more than his current wages. He's going to come in at 100 odd. If I'm Zaha, I want a 3-year deal with an option of another one, maybe even 4 years, because at 29, I'm sorted, didn't it, really? So I think personally the boat's gone for Zaha, but if it did happen, I'm all for it. And he turns 30 next week, people. But there is doubt about whether Palace are prepared to significantly raise the offer they have already made Zaha since re-signing him in 2015, people. And he's already seen on one hand, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. In reflection, you know, when he joined Man United, it was a turbulent time. He wasn't ready for that move individually as well. Apparently, the perception that Zaha is not cut out for the highest level following that brief stint at United when he feels he was not given a fair opportunity has frustrated him, and the Ivorian would be keen to prove his critics wrong. Zaha has been subject to interest in the past from some of the PL's elite clubs, Arsenal, Chelsea, as well as United, and somehow Spurs is being counted as an elite club. Someone rise up the trophies or trillions they've ever given to the game, really. You know, they're probably going to have a DVD coming out after that Marseille comeback. There's levels to this. You know, I see United treble, I see Invincibles, I see Chelsea, I think of Jose and Conte and these things. Spurs. All right, then, silence. But moving forward, and being a free agent at the end of the season would only increase his hopes of securing another move to the Big Six. To be fair, banter aside, Spurs, he could be, obviously, there's not too many years left in him, but he could be a good option for them. He could be a good option for all of these clubs if you look past the age. It all depends how he carries himself, the intent. But just based on the wages he would want, the signing on bonus, and the length of contract, I think Arsenal should stay clear. If you're just looking at it from the ability of the player and the individual, I'm having him. But there's a lot of variables, people. Last term, he got 15 goals in 37. He's already got 6 goals and 1 assist in 11 appearances. I mean, he's a quality player. There is no doubt about that, people. What's this one there? All right, so that's that where Zaha's concerned. Arsenal, Liverpool and Chelsea face desperate Wilfried Zaha situation after latest offer. Apparently, the heavyweights are sniffing around Zaha, and he could be a decent option. Liverpool, obviously, I think Liverpool, he'd be a good option for Liverpool, but they need longevity. You've brought in Darwin Núñez. You've got Jota. I'm probably missing out someone else. Guys, that age is kind to them. Salah, he's here for the present. Firmino probably leaving, but here for the present. And Van Dijk present. Alisson present. Zaha would be there for the present. And I'm not sure many Liverpool fans give a crap because it would mean getting back to what fighting City and that. But they probably, like us, need someone with a bit of more legs in them. And United, you can rule them out as well. I don't think they'll go again. So, yeah, you know, everybody's interested in everyone. I think he ends up going abroad. But, you know, if Zaha signed for the carpet, I wouldn't be against it. But that is that. And as usual, big up you lot in the comments as well. I mean, you could explore the situation with Kessie at Barcelona, afternoon Graham as well. But yeah, where Zaha's concerned, that is that, people. Arsenal to hold Torres transfer talks as Gunners ponder January move for MLS star. We've already known this. Allegedly, talks are scheduled between Edu and his advisors, Torres in that case, on the weekend. Now, that shows you that progress is being made, but we're not there because we haven't officially began talks with Orlando. So that tells you in terms of medicals, agreeing fees, dotting I's, crossing T's, and having a player, there's a long way to go for the 22-year-old. In fact, some reports are even saying more likely to get him in the summer, people. Really, you know, physically he's looking like he's lacking a bit, but I mean, 22 years of age, 10 appearances for Uruguay, some cover for Saka. Sorry, if we have done our due diligence, then fair enough, innit? Tony Lima, who is a scout, has now set up a meeting between Arsenal's technical director Edu and Torres' reps to discuss a potential move, with Arsenal known to be in the market for a player who can provide cover and competition for Saka on the right-hand side, people. The meeting is due to take place this weekend, with Torres very keen on the move to the Premier League leaders. I like that. Discussions are at a very early stage, however, with reports suggesting that a deal is imminent, believed to be wide of the mark. And when we've tried to go for household names or Premier League proven wingers, when we went with Zaha over Pepe, when we went with when we tried to go for Rafinha before Barca and Chelsea, when we went for a couple of these players, you either put the money down or you don't. You know, the youth at Napoli, you know, didn't have the best of games against Liverpool, but Brighton, other aspects, would love him at the carpet. Gonna cost too much. Mudryk, 1 minute is 35, then it's 100 million, and all of these mad things. So if this is the profile, if we've done our scouting, then I don't care if they come from League Two, Sunday League, South America, North America. Just make sure they're the right guys. But obviously, you probably have to give him if you was to sign him and Danilo, the midfielder, for example, them being 21 and 22, one's in MLS, one's obviously playing in South America, joining mid-season, is probably naive to expect them to hit the ground running and, you know, really pull this club to get forward, kind of like how you saw kind of an instant impact from Bentancur and Kulusevski. That doesn't mean they can't chip in. That doesn't mean they can't help us. But there's a lot they'd have to adapt to Arteta's tactics on the field, off the field. And obviously they're joining mid-season, in which I don't know what the turn of the year is going to be saying, but we need to keep winning games. And a big part as to winning games is keeping the same team fit and playing the same players, obviously rotating where you can. But apparently, Facundo Torres has the chance to join Arsenal, but it would not happen until next summer's transfer window. The players' reps will meet with Arsenal next week. However, nothing is advanced right now. Fabrizio Romano also said Gelmondo was offered to Arsenal last summer, but they decided to proceed with Zinchenko as their priority target. Now, many clubs are following him as it's a big opportunity. His contract is running down. He has been linked with Arsenal, going to continuously get linked with Arsenal. Apparently, who is Arsenal transfer target for Facundo Torres? A closer look at the Orlando City Uruguay star. You know, let's see what's going on there, man. As we know, we're scheduling talks. His career so far, he came through at Penrenal, that's a very good Uruguayan academy that produces quite a few players, people. He made his debut for Uruguay in 2020, people, under Diego Forlan. He's become a regular. He has 6 goals in 38 appearances. Crazy. So, I mean, one thing said 10, but I don't know. In 2021, he was part of the squad that won the Uruguay title. So this is a good experience. He's played for his country, similar to Fabio Vieira. He's been around, you know, where fair enough, you can laugh at the league title he's won, but, you know, he's won a league title. He understands what comes with that. And obviously football, for obvious reasons, is different, but it's similar. There's a certain mentality, a certain sort of expectation, people. So yeah, he did his thing there, people, helping them win the league title. He's joined the MLS in Orlando City and he's doing quite well there, people. He was part of Uruguay's Copa America squad, and he might be part of the World Cup squad based on this. So that could mean the price has gone up. In which, Orlando, are you selling him prematurely? Or maybe Arsenal's moving ahead of the queue, people. Orlando are going to want to make better than their £7.8 million they initially spent on demand. So yeah, apparently as the MLS went on, Torres started to show why they paid so much. He's smooth on the ball, and for a winger, has the goal-scoring touch that has separated him from one of the league's best at the position. A playmaking winger by trade that can play across the front line. You love that. You love to hear that, people. Torres led Orlando City in goal contributions in his first MLS season. No mean feat for a player at his age, people. So yeah, people, he's doing his thing, really. And he obviously performed in the US Open Cup run, people, where he bagged twice. He scored twice and assisted another as Orlando defeated Sacramento Republic in the final, delivering the first trophy since the club's move to the MLS. So he's got 2 trophies. He's got 2 trophies for a 22-year-old. These are things we could take, people. away from that jargon, for Kando to be this young with that responsibility on his shoulders. He It's amazing. He carried the team to win the Open Cup, and he carried the team today. At this age, that's not an easy job. I recognize his humbleness, his maturity. Orlando should be very happy to have a player like this here. He's really carrying us. Fair enough. Apparently, he's only getting better as he improves his decision making at a higher level. He's far from the perfect player. Obviously, we know he'd fit in. He can play on the left, play on the right, play behind the striker. But being left-footed, I believe you want to see him kind of match up on that right-hand side and provide backup to Saka and push him all the way. At 22 years of age, obviously he falls in line with what Arsenal are doing, people. Pardon me. So that seems to be it where he's concerned, people. And once again, Edu is set to oversee imminent talks over a potential January move for Torres by the end of the week, according to reports. Arsenal already said to be drawing up their plan of action for the mid-season market. Hopefully that includes centre mid. Smash the like button, people. With their policy of investing in promising young players set to remain in place when bidding opens, people. As you can see, Arsenal are thought to be keeping tabs on Torres' development the last few months. As we've already seen, people. Apparently, his agent has confirmed Arsenal's interest to ESPN. It is said that Edu has nominated Arsenal scout Tony Lima, who is renowned for targeting overseas-based players with the potential to make it in Europe, to hold a meeting this week, people. The latter has acknowledged that there's still nothing advanced. So nothing advanced, but moving in the right direction. Torres himself said, I'm a forward and attacking player that likes to play out on the wings. But one of the things I love to do the most is just attacking at goal and going to goal. Inside the box, outside the box, is one of the things where I just really love getting towards goal. I'm a player that loves to be on the ball all the time, because if I don't have the ball, I'm waiting for it. I love to be on the attack and affect games as much as possible. As an Arsenal fan, that is what we're lacking in widespread. That is what I want to hear. So fair enough, Torres, people. Keeping up the Arsenal transfer rumours, Arsenal and Chelsea have been linked with Locatelli, people, as 1 minute Jorginho staying at Chelsea, then he's going, people. I don't know. Juventus, who I don't even know if they finally paid off the 2-year, obligation, loan with an obligation to buy from Sassuolo. They're willing to sell him for just 30 million in order to bring in Jorginho. But surely they could. I know in terms of a budget, wages and transfer fees are kind of factored together for clubs, but I don't get the correlation. Bringing in Jorginho is kind of irrelevant. And to be fair, when you look at McKennie and a couple of these other players there's a number of players that could leave Juventus before Locatelli, really. So I don't really see this, happening, as we know. But if Juventus really are willing to offload him, I'm sure Chelsea and Arsenal would take him. We tried to get him, did we not? So we'll have to see. The report claims they are willing to part with Locatelli for 30 million euros. And the report also says both Chelsea and Arsenal are open to signing Locatelli and bringing him to England. Locatelli could replace Jorginho where Chelsea are concerned, people. So, yeah, a move to England would suit the box-to-box midfielder more so than the slightly slower Serie A. For 30 million, both clubs would be signing a player much younger than Jorginho. He has the potential to improve further. I'm not sure if I believe that, people, but it is what it is. 35 million euros has been quoted in the official statement there. So I'm not too sure what to believe there. Looking at Goal.com's transfers stuff, as you know, we turned down the chance to allegedly sign Gelmondo. We've received a boost in the Locatelli switch, people. Now it's gone up to 35 million euros. The dream is free. The hustle was sold separately. Big up everyone who was here yesterday. You saw Reece Nelson in relation to a new contract said he would love to sign a new deal. We've spoken about Facundo Torres. There was apparently 3 clubs interested in taking Reece Nelson last summer. We know this. We know we've opened talks or moved a bit closer to maybe bringing in William Saliba's new deal into the public. Arsenal, along with a number of clubs, have been linked with Brereton Diaz. He's been ripping us since his Nottingham Forest days. His contract is running down. He's been doing well for at least 18 months at Blackburn. It makes sense why everybody wants to sign the Chile international. Sevilla, West Ham, Newcastle, and Nice all allegedly interested in also completing, his signing and ultimately his signature, people. So we'll have to see how that one there develops, people. Smash the like button if you haven't, people. There's over 200 of you locked in on YouTube. There's still only 53 likes. Help the engagement, people. So, yeah, it is what it is. Apparently, Mesut Ozil's agent, who has been speaking about Mesut Ozil's time at Arsenal, apparently, he's trying to talk up Karim Aktogolu, who we've been linked with before, 24-year-old, in his third season in Galatasaray. Apparently, he would suit the Premier League. I mean, his agent's always going to say that on behalf of his client. You never know when it's the right time or the right place, to be honest. It depends on so many factors. The right coach must be there who likes the player and can develop the player. You know he's still young and it's a matter of timing. So when the time is right there, I think he'll play in the Premier League. But at the moment, he's just become a first-team player for the national team as well. So he's really developing step by step, which is very important for a player not to overpace things. So yeah, fair enough. He said, I think for a young player, it's very important to go to a club where the coach wants you. As a coach right now, you want to send young players to Arteta to develop because he always plays young players. You can see that with Saka, Smith Rowe dropping their first double-figure goal-scoring season / assists as well. Martinelli's going from strength to strength. Saliba, Ben White are doing their thing. Gabriel's improved a tenfold, even though there's still a long way to go. And all them sort of things there. Arsenal have that culture of taking players from their own youth system and bringing them up. Yeah, which is unique. Not many players do that. So you always want a player to go to Arsenal, play, develop, especially as a young player. Apparently, he has 1 assist and 3 goals in 12 appearances so far and is contracted until 2026 at Galatasaray. So make of that what you will. Arsenal target teased over Gunner's move with teammates joking £45 million deal is done already. This is in relation to Mudryk, people, where 1 minute we're hearing just mad fees. I don't know what to believe. But scrolling all the way down to what has been exactly said, his colleague at Shakhtar, Turbin, the keeper, I like that he's focused only on himself, his and his team's game. Fans don't really see that much. No one sees what he's doing away from the football field. All these transfer rumours affect him only in a positive way because he enjoys what he does. And in the team, we tell him, well, you're already at Arsenal. Let's all go. Crazy. But what we've heard before is the sporting director, them sides, has said, together with Kylian Mbappe, Rafa Leao, Vinicius Jr., Mudryk is the strongest player in his role. Is he better than the Napoli brother? I don't know. Is 35 million enough to buy him? We don't speak for those figures, not even for 45. We don't even call the president to make the offer. We value Mudryk more than United's Anthony, floating between Arsenal and City. They are 2 teams that have taken an interest in the player, but there are also other clubs that can spend right away. We are not obliged to sell. We do not want to lose phenomena. We don't want to shoot figures that aren't realistic. But in this team, he is the most decisive. If you want to take on certain players who can make a difference in top clubs, you also need the right money. So yeah, and he's previously spoken about moving to the Premier League and Arsenal, etc. Chelsea, Arsenal, and Newcastle have been linked with Tossart, people, who has 12 months left on his current contract with an option of another year at Brighton. The Belgian is enjoying one of his finest starts to the season. He has 7 goals and 2 assists in 12, including a very impressive hat-trick against Liverpool. Newcastle is probably where he'll get the most game time. I'm sure, Arsenal and Chelsea would take him and let him be part of the squad and mix it up at 27 years of age, Premier League proven and all of that jazz. But I don't think it's going to happen for what it's worth. We've already seen this, people, around Diaz. Apparently, Atletico Madrid are looking at William Saliba on a free transfer. They're not going to be able to move for him at least until the summer of 2024 because we do have an option in his contract. We've been linked with Okafor of Salzburg. Don't think he's ready, people, and he's playing Milan today. Apparently, according to the English press, it is Arsenal today, the club furthest ahead in the race for the Swiss, with Gabby Jesus, who could leave after only a year. Now, Gabriel Jesus has been linked with Real Madrid, so that's where this has come from. I'd take him, but I don't think he's ready, and I think he needs a lot of work with his decision-making. Big up to everyone who's at the watch-along. Arsenal star among 3 players eyed by Atletico Madrid as Simeone's great wish revealed. Who? If it 3 Arsenal players, or is it just one? That's irrelevant, man. It's named other Dons. I was reading that myself. David Seaman, I was reading that myself. Apparently, big up Reece Nelson, wholesome moment. Apparently, 3 people, well, better yet, 2 people captained him in the fantasy league, and he wants to bust them some shirts and stuff like that. And that's a heartwarming moment, I felt. Anyways, Premier League club scout Martin Terrier ahead of January transfer window. Good little player for the right fee, really. And he had a standout season last year, as you can see here. 21 Liga goals last season for Rennes. He signed an improved contract until 2026, and teams are monitoring him, people. Apparently, 90 Minute has been told that nearly half of the Premier League have scouted Terrier this season. I mean, everybody's going to scout everyone. I know that shocks people, but it makes sense. It's like being in a certain industry and reading, current trends and current events. You want to know how good a player is or how bad a player is or what they are. And, you're watching several players over there at Rennes. They got, that Douai guy, plays for France at youth level, decent little player. Rennes in recent years, Camavinga, Tel Money has gone to Bayern Munich. Ousmane Dembele at Barca. Rennes, there's crazy things in the water in that academy. So I wouldn't say necessarily Terrier, but can we scout some other players? But he is a decent player, can play up front. We don't have many can do that. Is better than Eddie Nketiah, respectfully to him. Apparently, in the last 2 weeks alone, Arsenal, Manchester United, Newcastle, Leeds, Leicester, Wolves, and Aston Villa have all watched him in action. While there's also interest from clubs in Germany and Italy. Liverpool, Newcastle, and Leeds all contacted Rennes in the summer, but talks didn't amount to any official bids for the player. And apparently, Rennes will demand a club record fee in excess of 30 million for Terrier. Pardon me, but that will likely not put off many clubs this winter. So we'll have to see exactly how that one there develops, people. That was just my own personal reading, as you can see, hella personal reading going on there. So yeah, with that being said, that puts an end to the transfer talk, people. What are you guys saying? Let me read the comments and actually also spin the block for any other still rumors as well, people, which is going on. Let's open up your channel. Let's open up. Let's look at. Sorry, folks, I'm still here. I'm just making sure we're going over things. Smash the like button if you haven't already. I promise we're going to look at what you lot are saying, people. Give me a sec. Multitasking is kind of hard, and this tab is not loading. So, yeah, slap that over there. Slap that over here. Let's look at what's being said over these sides, man. Okafor is probably the most random name. As I said, we've been linked with Terrier allegedly as well, folks. So you have to draw whatever conclusions you want to draw personally for yourselves. But remember, the dream is free. The hustle is sold separately, people. So yeah, it is what it is in that regard. In fact, there is some other news. In fact, you can look at it here, people. Allegedly, Mikel Arteta would welcome a winger in January to add competition in the forward areas. He has also looked at central midfield, but Aston Villa's Douglas Luiz is no longer available. Palmeiras' Danilo has also been considered in the central roles. It says here by Mike McGrath, of the Telegraph. They're going to ask it, well... We're not going to be able to just read that normally, are we? But yeah, Arsenal sign up. Well, yeah, there you can see with that's behind the paywall and ain't no one paying for the Telegraph, folks. So yeah, there you have that. What else is AFC stuff saying, people? Arteta is set to be backed again in January, with Edu looking to bring in one player to give the squad a lift for the second half of the season campaign, with the aim to maintain the pace that has taken them to the top of the Premier League, people. Again, we've seen that with Mudryk. Facundo Torres has a chance to join Arsenal, but it would not be until next summer. It says there. We've already seen the Gilmando business. Arsenal are pushing to get Torres, but deal is more realistic to happen in June 2023 rather than Jan. Nothing is advanced at the moment. Arsenal scouts will watch RB Salzburg's 22-year-old Swiss player Noah Okafor during the match against TSV Huntsburg, and he's also been linked with Leeds and AC Milan. And I'm sure Xhaka can give Mikel Arteta a player and character reference as well. So yeah, we'll have to see what's being said there. So yeah, it is what it is in that regards. We're hearing Arteta is going to be back. Shout out Austin Tusty. Loan report coming out at 3 p.m. on my YouTube channel, people. Apparently Tusty said, I'm in contact with them all the time, and my mindset is to get to Arsenal and play for Arsenal. It's probably the best club in the world right now, and I'm excited for it. It's the perfect spot right now, and I'm doing my thing at an incredible organization in Birmingham. Obviously, the goal is to play in the Premier League, play a top team. That's where it's at. Fair enough to the guy. we saw these Fabio Vieira comments already. Ian Wright on Reece Nelson said, I'm so happy for him. You know what I love about him? We're talking about someone who people almost gave up on and said he should leave. I mean, he probably gave up on himself as well. And you, Ian. I remember you gave up on Joe Willock and then done a complete turnaround. It weren't that. Well, speaking for myself, it's not that I gave up in Reece Nelson. It felt like, his chance was never going to come. But hopefully he lays a new marker down. And obviously, we hope Gabby Jesus can bag some goals, people. And David Seaman has said the fans were so desperate for Jesus to score on Sunday. Every time he was around the box, they were saying, give it to Jesus, give it to Jesus. They were saying his confidence is low because he hasn't scored.